Well, welcome in everybody to another exciting, spectacular, awesome edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, and we have a special treat for you today because we have a good friend of mine in studio that lives here in Las Vegas, all the way from one of my favorite parts of Britain, Surrey. I'm going to let her tell you about it. But Elizabeth Pryor, they call her Lizzie. She plays on the Symmetra Tour. She was a standout when she played for UNLV, the women's golf team. And we're happy to have you joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How long have you been in Las Vegas when you came over from across the pond?
Well, I got to UNLV in 2015.
Okay.
And I graduated in 2019.
Okay.
So it's been roughly 6 years now.
Okay.
Since I've come to the stage, and it's been amazing.
Okay. Did you like your time at UNLV and playing women's golf there? What did you get out of that?
I absolutely loved it. Well, first of all, you can never complain about the weather.
True.
Vegas is just known for its fantastic weather. Aside from the wind in February, which we get every year, it's been great.
Yeah.
My college team was amazing. I had a great time, made some really great friends.
Mm-hmm.
I still talk to almost everybody on my team.
That's great.
Yep, traveled all over the states.
That's great.
Been to Texas, California, Arizona, Utah, everywhere. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. What made you, before we bring our special guest on, Miller Brady, what made you want to get into golf, and what made you want to play professional golf?
Well, I started playing golf when I was 4, and my dad actually ended up teaching me and my 2 older brothers how to play. So both of my brothers play. My sister is the only one of us that doesn't. And then just growing up, I really enjoyed the sport. I love the camaraderie of it, the integrity of it, and you can always get better. And it's an individual sport, which makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
And from then on, I just really wanted to turn pro and come to the States and try the LPGA.
And you did.
I'm making my way there.
And you're doing it, and you'll get there. Like I mentioned, Lizzie is playing in the Symmetra Tour, obviously going to try to keep qualifying to play on the LPGA Tour, which she is going to do, I guarantee you. But all right, let me bring up our special guest and tell you a little bit about Miller Brady, and we're so thankful to have him spending some time with us today. Miller currently serves as the president of the PGA Tour Champions, beginning his tenure, I believe, in sometime early in 2019. Miller joined the PGA Tour way back in 1999, where he worked in various capacities, including working for the then commissioner, Tim Finchem, where he helped develop the FedEx Cup, which everybody loves. Before joining the PGA Tour, Miller worked for what is now known as Octagon. Beginning in 1996, Miller oversaw BMW's grassroots effort in the golf business and B of A sponsorship of the Tour's West Coast swing that you hear so much about. He's a native of Atlanta, Georgia, a lot of good golf around there, and is a graduate of Georgia Southern University, which we will not hold against him. No, it's actually a very, very good school. So thanks so much for coming on the show, Miller. I know you have an incredibly busy schedule, and before I get into things, are you surprised at what started off as an idea, I believe in 1990, turned out to be the current PGA Tour champions, and it has endured the longevity as it has been? Does that surprise you at all?
Well, look, first, thanks for having me on. We could probably sit here and talk about Lizzie and her opportunities ahead on the Symmetra Tour until the LPGA. So thank you for having me today.
Glad to have you.
It is an interesting question. When you look back, at the time that the tour started, it was probably done so in a way to be more celebratory for some of the names in recognition of the players that could no longer play the PGA Tour, and it grew. It grew over time, and really it grew because of the likes of Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Gary Player, who supported the tour. They were always very supportive of the then senior tour. It morphed into Champions Tour, and today PGA Tour Champions. And if I look at it, what I've seen over the history of this tour is it has become, even in the past 5 years, more and more competitive. And you see that by the scores on a week in and week out basis. You see it with the level of play that's out there and how difficult it is for the guys to win.
Yeah, that's very, very true. I had years back, I had Don January on, who was one of the original people involved in putting this together. Absolutely great guy, absolutely fantastic personality.
Sure.
We'd have some really insightful conversations, the night before I had him on the show about what's going on. I don't know if you've ever met Don or anything, but terrific guy.
I've had dinner with him numerous times.
Okay. Terrific guy. Tall, lean, mean Texan or whatever. He was just absolutely tremendous. What is your primary, I know you wear a lot of hats, but what is your primary duty in overseeing the senior tour, if I could call it that?
Well, look, if you had just to really narrow it down to one or two specific items, it's putting on professional golf tournaments for our members, which are our players, and providing those opportunities on a week in and week out basis so that they have a place to play. That's the primary responsibility, and that it's not easy to do because you have to put a schedule together, and you're not able to do that unless you have title sponsors and tournaments. And so we have to provide value to our sponsors in the communities where we play in order to achieve that goal. And so we are constantly having conversations with our title sponsors, with our CEOs. What are their goals and objectives? How do we make sure we're meeting their goals and objectives? And, that's all the business side of it that allows us to play the right tournaments week in, week out. But we have a team that works with every single tournament and title sponsored team every single day that they're in the office.
Right. Lizzie, have you ever been to a senior event?
I have not. No,
Why?
I have not had the privilege.
And why not?
I've just never had the opportunity to go.
Yeah.
We'll get her to one. We'll get her to one, Miller.
We'll have to.
I promise. Speaking about sponsors.
We'd love to bring a tournament out to Las Vegas.
Oh, I wish you guys
Come on
would.
out.
I wish you guys would bring something out here. We've got the Shriners event, as you know, TPC Summerlin,
right,
which has been here for years and years. And we would love to have an event from you guys out here. Have you given any event any thought?
We have over time. I mean, like I mentioned before, the only way to put on professional golf tournaments is to make sure you have a title sponsor that is the primary supporter of the event, and then you can grow the rest of it organically.
Right.
We've talked about that being a market. It's definitely a market of interest, and it's with our business development team on their radar screen to consider from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see it, and anything that I could possibly do to help you guys at all, I'd be thrilled.
Thank you.
If I were a company, Miller, wanting to sponsor a tour event, why would I lean more to the Champions Tour rather than, say, a regular PGA Tour event, other than cost?
So cost is definitely a factor. So I'll shy away from cost, and clearly I'm biased from the seat I sit in. But I'll tell you, we are what I consider the best B2B, business to business entertainment in all of sport. And it's because of our players. We have a 3-day competition, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we have a 2-day pro-am. And our players realize that those 2 days are the most important days of every week in every tournament we play, so that they're entertaining with the local sponsors, with your title sponsor, You're inside the ropes. We have, 10 or so active Hall of Fame members out there on tour. And when you look at the name recognition on our tour, you're up close and personal with the Bernhard Longers of the world and the Ernie Els and the Miguel Angel Jimenez, Jim Furyk, Retief Goosen, Darren Clark, Mike Weir, Colin Montgomery. The list goes on. And we're very fortunate, not only with the competition, how great that is right now, but that these guys get it and they're willing to play these pro-ams, meet new people every single week, and they enjoy it. And they understand that's why we're out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot of people forget golf is showbiz. Golf is entertainment, right?
Absolutely. The other thing I would tell you, and we're not able to do this right now in the world of COVID, but in a non-COVID year, these tournaments have a draw party on a Tuesday evening, which identifies who the amateurs get to play with the next day. And on average, we probably have, somewhere between 20 and 30 of our players attend those parties every single week.
Right.
And they do it because it's the right thing to do.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. If speaking of events, I know that you're involved in Korn Ferry. In fact, Lizzie and I were just talking about that because there is an event coming here next week, not next week. I'm sorry.
It's next month.
Next month.
It's the MGM Resorts Korn Ferry event at Paiute.
At Paiute, which is a great facility, probably, as you know. Are you going to be out here for that?
I will not. My colleague, Alex Baldwin, who's the president of the Korn Ferry Tour, will be out there. She's fantastic at what she does for that tour. But we primarily are siloed onto our own tours. I'm not even sure which week it is, but we start pretty heavy beginning in April through the rest of the year. 22 events the week after the Masters through November for us.
Okay, yeah, we're looking forward to that because I really do like that tour because these guys could really play, Miller, as you know.
Listen, the competition out there is as fierce as it is on any tour.
Yeah.
And you should definitely find time to spend with Alex while she's in town.
Can you help me facilitate an interview with her like we're doing now?
Sure.
If I get a
Sure,
hold of you?
in fact, Tad, who works on our team, can assist with that as well. I'll mention it to Tad.
That would be wonderful. I very much appreciate it. Through the years, and I don't know how Lizzie feels about this, but there was, I can't say controversy, but there was discussion about a couple of things. Number one, outside of the majors, why the senior events would only be 3 rounds. And over and above that, why there would be no cut. I get the reason for the no cut, if I'm correct, and that is sometimes you don't exactly have a flush field, as many players as you want, so you kind of, keep them around. But a lot of people thought, hey, I'm going to go play. This is like Christmas every week. There's no cut. I'm going to make some money. What's your feeling about that?
Well, I would say that really that's not the reason for the 3-day event, the no cut. We clearly wanted to be a little different than the PGA Tour, and which is why we do a 2-day Pro-Am, Wednesday and Thursday Pro-Am. That was the primary driver for generating revenue, which in turn allows you to generate charity in the local market. And so that's occurring on a Wednesday and Thursday. And then that's why we decided that the 54-hole competition was the right avenue for us. The no cut just works well, and it works well so that you're not losing any of your superstars on the weekend. They're there all 3 days, regardless of how they play.
Right.
They're going to be there playing on the tournament course on Sundays.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of people.
I guarantee you, there are times the PGA Tour wishes that they didn't have a cut.
I can imagine.
Yeah, Lizzie, I can imagine. I totally agree with you.
I think a lot of people betting in Vegas would agree.
Yeah,
exactly right. Look, if if John Daly or Fred Couples has had a bad couple of days, they're still going to be there on Sunday, and they're still
Right.
going to have people get the chance to follow them on Sunday.
Yeah, and you're right, because they're all still enormously popular. That's really good. Last question before we take our first break, Miller. As these guys, well, let me put it this way. You have a tour player that's relatively successful today on the PGA Tour, making a bunch of dough, okay?
Yeah.
And is comfortable for the rest of his life. What do you do as a tour to incentivize somebody like that to come play on the PGA Tour Champions? Because he really doesn't need it.
No, and as the years have gone by, it's less and less about the money for, most of the players. And it's not an easy conversation, but we try to speak with the guys when they're, 48 and 49, inching closer to our tour and turning 50, even if they're still competitive on a regular basis out on the regular tour. At the end of the day, it comes down to, and these guys will tell you, the competitive drive that they have. They've played competitive golf their entire life. They've traveled their entire life. And that you just can't turn the switch off and it goes away. They still want to play. They want to get in the hunt. If you ask Jim Furyk, right, he just played his first year on tour with us, and he came out and won his first couple of events. Being back in the hunt on a regular basis, you still get nervous hitting the ball. You still get nervous over the putt to win. That doesn't go away. And having that back and the juices flowing seems to really resonate with these guys. I mean, at the end of the day, they want to win. They want to compete.
Absolutely.
They want to play on great golf courses. But the other thing you find with these guys is that as soon as they finish, they're able to turn it off, go sit and have dinner with some of their other players, have a glass of wine. They're just a lot more relaxed off the golf course.
Absolutely. No, that's well said, and I'm gonna follow up with something along those lines when we come back. We're gonna step away. We're gonna take our first short break here on the 19th Hole podcast for golfers, and we come back. We're gonna have a lot more with our special guest Miller Brady and Lizzie Pryor right next to me. So stay with us. We're back right after this.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
When it comes to golf, I'm a man of few words, as you'll see. Looking for out-of-this-world technology in your golf ball? Encore Golf. Looking for exceptional performance and durability? Encore Golf. Looking for the best performing ball for the price? Encore Golf. Check them out at Encore Golf, that's ONCORE golf.com. Your scores will thank you. All right, we are back, everybody, with more of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. I'm Dennis Silvers, along with Lizzie Pryor, who is a Symmetra Tour player, having a great conversation with Mr. Miller Brady, who overseas as the president of the PGA Tour Champions. And Miller, let me ask you this. Years back, and I'm sure you remember this, the tour, the Champions Tour, Senior Tour, was kind of getting boring in the sense that it was either seemed to be a showdown every week between Hale Irwin and Dr. Gil Morgan. I mean, it was one win, you know, this one, and then finally that kind of changed a little bit. Is it possible to have another rivalry like that on the Champions Tour, as there seems to be all of the time on the regular PGA Tour? Is that good for your tour?
Well, I'm not sure you'll ever see a rivalry or that number of victories in a year won by an individual like Hale or Dr. Gill did back in the day. Although Bernhard has been unbelievable.
It's been incredible.
Mid-60s here, continues to win. But really, you know, when you look at the competition and how fierce it is every single week, it's hard. You know, Phil Mickelson won his first few events out. I think that that's good for us. Ernie Els, the play is just too good. And when you see the other guys coming on board in the next few years, it's going to continue to be great competition. Yeah,
that's true. It's getting harder and harder to win on that tour as it is the other tours.
But they're all glad to knock Bernhard off the pedestal.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. And when he skips a week, I'm sure they take a big sigh of relief.
By the way, I mean, that's the other thing that I think is special about our tour is that we strategically play 25 to 27, maybe 28 events a year. And we do it in a manner in which we have two or 3 weeks in a row. We take a break, come back, play two or three. And that allows our players to play most events.
True.
You know, most guys play, 20-something events a year in their schedule.
True.
And we don't necessarily have a strength of field issue on our tour. It's pretty special.
That's true. That's a very good point that you make. And I know you're always beating the bricks, looking for sponsors, because if you had a plethora of sponsors, you would have more events. What is the qualification, if that's the right word, Miller, of somebody you would look at to be a potential sponsor? Is it their product line? Is it how much money they make? Is it the areas that they're popular in? What do you look for when you're talking to a potential sponsor, whether they would be a good fit for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have a couple different models. One is a hometown title sponsor. So I'll take an example of Principal, which is headquartered in Des Moines, Iowa. That's a hometown title sponsor for us. And Principal rallies around it, their employees rally around it, and then the community rallies around that event on an annual basis for it to be, the biggest show in town and generate significant money for charity. That's a hometown model. We also have a destination type of a model where you're going to a resort and it's all about the B2B and the entertainment side for that title sponsor.
Right.
And that's the focus for the week. So what we try to do is identify the title sponsor, what are their goals and objectives, and then how do we marry that up with the right venue or the right market that just makes the most sense. And to a previous statement you said, look, if I had the chance to have 40 tournaments out there, I wouldn't want to do it.
Really?
I strategically want to play a number of events that's not going to hurt the existing tournaments that we have on our tour, because I think every one of our events needs to be the biggest event in that local market and make an impact in that local market.
Yeah.
It's also exhausting for the players. If you have any more events, it's, believe me,
they get
it's
tired.
a challenge.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
They get tired. That's very true.
Anytime we play, 4 or 5 in a row, which we try not to do, but if you get forced into it, by the time you reach that fourth event, they are exhausted.
Yeah.
It wreaks havoc on you.
Yeah.
They're older. They still practice. They still grind.
Sure.
You're still traveling. But it's just not something that is of great interest to us.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know, Miller, the media presence today, radio, television, print, whatever it might be, seems to gravitate obviously more towards the PGA Tour and to some degree the LPGA Tour rather than the Champions Tour. Why is that, and what would you do or could do to change that, to give you guys more ink?
Yeah, that's the great question. I oftentimes say that we don't get near the notoriety or exposure that our tour or our players deserve.
Yeah.
Now, take a step back. The PGA Tour are the greatest male professional golfers in the world. The LPGA Tour are the greatest female professional golfers in the world, and they both deserve all the credit in the world that they receive. So we have to find our niche.
Right.
And that we've done in the past few years is we've identified two individuals that work on the social media for us and have done a great job in working with the players and trying to get that message out there. That's, an additional way to gain exposure, not only for our players, but for our tournaments and our title sponsors. But it's not easy. Like I said, I don't think we get near the credit that we deserve, especially when you think about the Hall of Famers that are out there. The players that are playing, whether it's the Ernie Els, Furyk, Mickelson, Bernhard Langer, Fred Couples, Tom Watson. I mean, like I said, you can go down the list of all these great names, which maybe I'm a little too close to at times, but I just think it's fantastic.
Well, there's a reason it's called the Champions Tour. It's past champions.
True.
So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to watch your favorites?
True. And
So,
they're all
Mickelson-
very, very recognized individuals that, have made their mark,
Yeah.
in competitive golf. And I agree with that. Which brings me to, I think, an interesting point. I'm curious to get Lizzie's sense on this too. When people gravitate, join the Champions Tour after a while, do you think their game changes a little bit where doesn't have to be the bomb and gouge, and distance maybe doesn't play that big of a factor? It's more of course management and that type of thing. Do you think they evolve a little bit?
Well, they evolve a little bit, but technology has allowed, for the most part, these guys hit it further than they did. A lot of the guys hit it further than they did when they played the regular tour, and really that's technology. But one of the misnomers out there is the length of courses that we play. A lot of folks think that we're playing 63, 6,400 yard courses. We're not.
True. Right.
We average over 7,000 yard courses every single week.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, it's not short golf. Now, the one thing I would say is that because it's 3 rounds, you've got to come out of the gates firing.
Right.
If you have 1 round of even par or 1 under, you're going to have a hard time catching back up to the lead.
Yeah, you're going to get run over, no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for error.
That's a very good point. LPGA, Symmetra, what are they, 64, 65, 66?
No, it's usually 66 and above.
And really?
Yeah. So
wow.
I think one of the shortest courses we played on the Symmetra Tour was like 65.9.
Wow, okay.
Like, we don't play short golf courses like people would think.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Right.
Believe me, the girls can bomb it. Some of them can outdrive a couple of the lower end guys. I mean, pretty close anyway.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
It's no offense, Dennis.
Boy, anyway, all right. Before we take our another short break, Miller, let me ask you this: of course, it's changed now a little bit, but what was the thought of the players when, and still like on the ladies tour, PGA Tour, because of COVID, when they had no gallery? Do they have a different mindset without a gallery?
Well, I think you've heard a lot of the guys talk about, with it being so quiet out there, it was a little eerie at times. I recall, standing off to the side, and you could literally hear the caddy walking down the fairway and the clubs clinking.
Yeah.
When's the last time you could say that?
Yeah.
But the other thing it changed, especially on the holes coming in to finish where there's hospitality structures. It changed their thinking because their depth perception was, okay, here's a hospitality tent. It gives me a sense of where I need to hit. All that really went away. So they had to change their mentality. Now, we ended up, and I don't think anyone truly realizes this, but we had fans in the middle of the summer last year at one of our tournaments. And we had nearly 10,000 people there. And it was the first event back on any tour with some sizable gallery. And the players, a little cautious, absolutely loved it. And that was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We played the Sanford International there with our partners, and it was great. We did some things to be a little more careful. We extended the rope lines.
Well, sure.
Right? We extended the doors so the players weren't too close with spectators.
Yeah.
But I have players texting me every single day right now saying, "We get spectators at our next event. When can we get spectators back?" Like, they're ready, they're anxious, and they want to have it happen.
They want to have it happen, absolutely, because they thrive on that, and it gives them, whatever. There's no doubt about it. All right, we're going to step away. We're going to take another short break before we come back with Miller, and we're going to leave you with our game improvement tip of the week, brought to you by Adam Bazalgett from Scratch Golf Academy in Southern Florida. Fantastic academy, fantastic teacher, and a few commercial spots. So Lizzie and I are going to be with you right after this.
Well, that felt reasonably good. Adam Bazalgett here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy, with another swing improvement tip for the podcast, 19th hole for golfers. Today, talking about keeping that left arm straight. The lead arm, it would be the right arm for the right-handed golfer, the left-handed golfer, excuse me. Should you keep it straight? Well, certainly it's an ideal. I mean, hey, that's the radius of your golf swing. The trail arm folds a little bit in the backswing. If your radius is pretty stable and consistent, you're a more consistent golfer, likely hit the ball a little bit farther as well. Now, before we talk on how I think you'll want to go about keeping that straight, because it bothers a lot of people. They're unable to do it. Some people aren't that flexible, especially through the lats and shoulders. If you're one of those people, reasonably straight will certainly do it. Tom Watson would be one of the great players that had some bend in his left arm. So if it really strains you back here, don't overdo trying to do it. Now, here's the thing to me that causes people to struggle with keeping the left arm straight. Believe it or not, it's the grip. I'm going to come up to the camera. People grip it too much in the palm of the hand, making it difficult to cock their wrists. And what happens as they go back, the wrists don't set very well. And listen, you're not going to hit the ball very far without much wrist cock, so naturally they start to overdo their body and arm motion to finish their backswing, and it bends here. What you want is a grip that's under that heel pad, on top of the club, giving you leverage to push down so that when you're at about this point in the backswing, you can push the handle out. We don't need to be getting the club head pushed out. Push the handle out so that from about here to here in your backswing, maybe a third of the way back to the top, you can really push out, and that wrist cock in conjunction with the pushing out straightens that lead arm and keeps it straight, because it actually feels like it's getting wider all the way to the top. Try it in front of a mirror. Try it in slow motion. It'll really help your game. Make sure you can hinge that wrist freely and easily. You're on top of the club. Nothing handsy here, but push the handle out. Create a nice sharp wrist cock. If you're a little tight there, let it bend just a bit. I hope this helps.
Dr. Christopher Choi has long been recognized as one of the top concierge doctors in Las Vegas. Dr. Choi and the entire staff at Comprehensive Wellness Center have earned the reputation of unsurpassed medical care and service to all of their patients. In a continuing effort to always advance his practice, Dr. Choi is now offering an additional service to his current patients, as well as new patients. It's the latest, most advanced laser therapy treatment available. It's true, being in great physical health is very important, but so is the mental boost you get when you know you look your best. Whether you want to lose those wrinkles, diminish those acne scars, decrease pigmentation, skin tightening, or permanent fat reduction, this procedure is the answer. You'll have peace of mind knowing there is no actual surgery and no downtime. You just get results with these amazing laser treatments. You might wonder if it hurts? The answer is no. All you feel is a slight tingly feeling during the procedure. You'll love the results. Call Comprehensive Wellness Center at 702-463-8080.
Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at encoregolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to encoregolf.com and see for yourself. Your scores will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com. All right, we are back, everybody. We're winding up a great interview with Miller Brady from the PGA Tour Champions, and I'm alongside Lizzie, my good friend Lizzie, who's a wonderful, wonderful player. Right? That's what you keep telling me. That's what you keep. No, she is. In fact, we're going to play golf Friday, Miller, and I'm going to try to teach her a lesson or two. I doubt it, but you know, it's going to be a lot of fun. But you'll be hearing the name Lizzie Pryor here pretty soon. A couple things before I let you go, Miller. How long you been playing golf, and are you any good?
Oh wow! I would say when you work in the industry like this, you can't consider yourself good. I'm an amateur golfer who loves to get out there and play, no matter what I score. Probably a 13 handicap, good holes and really bad holes. And I've been playing since I was younger. My grandfather taught me the game, and I'm, you know, that's a great memory that I have with my grandfather and learning how to play the game.
Yeah, no, that's great. It was interesting because when we were setting up the interview and I was talking to Tad, who seems like a great young guy, he said he's fairly new to golf, but he got the bug big time, which was really, really nice to hear, and he can't get enough of it now.
I think it happens to all of us, but like I said, when you work for the PGA Tour, you're around golf all the time. You're at these great golf courses and great players. You just don't have the chance to play too often. When you come home, it's time to spend time with the family normally.
How many events do you go to a year, Miller?
Yeah, great question. This past year, I went to every single one of our tournaments, clearly during COVID, and we followed the protocols. I wanted to be ever present in front of our players and our sponsors, and I'll probably do the same thing this year. But in a normal situation, I would get into a rotation type where I would spend time in an event one year and probably not the next year, but still visit 20 or so a year.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. All right. Last question before I let you go. Why are there 5, count them, 5 majors on the senior tour and only 4 on the regular tour? How'd that happen?
Well, for us, it's simple. We consider the Bridgestone senior players at Firestone Country Club a major on our tour. And to me, not only is it a major, it's probably the toughest year-in, year-out major there is on our tour. When you look at that golf course, the history at that golf course, and how difficult it is, it's fantastic. And the players, they love the challenge of going back to that venue.
That's a fun golf course. I've played it. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is a tough one, though. If you don't know where you're going, it's a challenge.
Yeah, you know, and if the rough is up, it's hard to get out of the rough. The greens can be severe. They have a lot of slope to them. They can be a little quick. It's a great place to host any golf tournament, but for us, the Bridgestone Senior Players as a major just makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I get that, and certainly is deserving of that. All right, very last thing, I promise. Tragedy with Tiger Woods. You think he's done, or are we going to see him back?
You know, that's a great question. I'm not close enough to it to know whether or not he will be back and play professional golf. I hope that he's able to get back to being healthy, being able to spend time with his family is probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
And then is he able to play golf again at a competitive level comes next. But I'm not sure. I mean, clearly severe injury. Look at what happened to Alex Smith and his recovery. I guess somewhat. It's just it's devastating for golf, and I think we all hope that he's able to maintain some presence in the world of professional golf moving forward, whatever that may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken Green happens to be a good friend of mine. He's a wonder, you know, playing pretty good golf, still competitive golf, you know, on one leg with that terrible RV accident he had. So you just never know.
You never know is exactly right.
You never know. Anyway, Miller, thank you so much for your generous time. Great interview. We'd love to have you back sooner than later. And I will, I'll call Tad and see if we could get something with the Corn Ferry Tour going. I would love to do that.
I'll mention it to Tad as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Dennis, thank you. Lizzie, thank you. Good luck.
Thank
on
you.
The Symmetra Tour and making your way to the LPGA. Good luck to you.
And to answer your question, I'm playing a Cactus Tour event on the 7th. So it's like another warm-up event, and then hopefully I'll be able to get into a couple Symmetra events later down the line for the year.
Where's the Cactus event being played?
The one we're playing in the next week is going to be at Longbow Country Club in Arizona.
Oh, so it is in Arizona. Okay,
yes.
Great.
Yeah, Cactus events are usually Arizona, California, and they do actually have 2 events here in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to get you out to Vegas to play some golf.
Come join.
Miller.
Next time I'm out there, I'll look you guys up.
Totally.
Definitely.
Oh, totally. We would absolutely love that. But again, Miller, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon then. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Take care.
You too.
You too. Miller Brady, everybody. Very, very nice man. He's got a big responsibility with his position now with the Champions Tour. All right, we're going to step away, take a real quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to finish off the show talking to Lizzie and about her schedule, a little bit about Symmetra Tour, a little about the Cactus Tour, as you heard. So stay with us and we'll be back with you in a flash.
One of the buzzwords happening in golf is the word lag. You hear it all the time, but what is it, and how do I get it? Lag simply is the loading of the club to help produce tons of power in your golf swing. Up until now, getting lag into your swing has been very hard. Introducing the Lag Shot, a brand new proven training aid being praised by some of the leading PGA Tour instructors across the globe. This practice aid trains your hands, arms and body how to make a powerful, efficient golf swing with an amazing amount of lag. Lag Shot is a 7-iron length club with the same loft, and lie with a whippy, flexible blue shaft, and a beautiful jet black club head. After you master the Lag Shot, your game will change forever with a stress-free swing, more power and more distance with lower scores every time you play. Go to lagshotgolf.com, and you'll see why this truly is becoming the #1 training aid in golf. Visit lagshotgolf.com.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
Hi, welcome back in, everybody. We're going to spend a couple of minutes with Lizzie Pryor talking about her future schedule and so on and so forth. Really want to thank Miller Brady for a great show. He's a nice guy.
Great guy.
And he's got a lot of stuff on his head. So you're going out to an event in Arizona at Longbow pretty soon, and then tell us about that a little bit, and then where are you going from there?
Yes, so the Cactus Tour, that's hosted by Mike Brown, who is a great guy.
Yeah, Mike's a wonderful guy.
He's awesome, and it's a tour run on the West Coast, which we don't actually have many of. So even the Symmetra Tour and the LPGA, they don't have a lot of events over here on the west side.
Right.
So it's kind of nice to have mini tour events in Arizona, California, even some in Vegas, which is great for me. So that's going to be the next event at Longbow Country Club, which they just had a Symmetra event at the last couple weeks ago. And then they went to Morongo in California. So the Symmetra Tour, due to my status on it, it's going to be a challenge to get into a couple of events coming down the line, because last year didn't actually count for our ranking. So our ranking stayed the same throughout the entire year. So whatever it was 2 years ago is what it is now.
Okay, that was because of the...
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID, the shortness of the schedule.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was a shame because I did actually finish top 70 for last year, so
Yeah.
I would have got a better status for this year, but due to circumstances, it was unfortunate.
Now, when the Cactus Tour comes out here for 2 events, that's usually in June, I think? And
Yes.
where is that played?
June and July, so they usually played at Legacy and Stallion Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, so good golf courses.
2 good, very good golf courses.
Love them. I've played them a few times, obviously, with the Cactus Tour. My first year I played them, I came 2nd and 3rd, and then the next year I came 5th in one of them. So I've played pretty good in those, and I absolutely, like I said, I love Mike, the way he runs the tour, and he treats the girls great.
Yeah, he's a very nice man. Biggest difference between a Cactus Tour event and a Symmetra Tour event?
There are quite a few differences. One is the field size. So the Symmetra Tour, the usual field size is 144 players.
Wow.
The Cactus Tour, I think one of the biggest fields is 45.
Really? Wow.
It's a
That
massive
is a
difference.
significant difference.
Yeah, so that is one of them. Another difference is the fact that the Symmetra Tour do have pro-ams. So they have a pro-am. They usually have 1 or 2 a few days prior to the event. And then the Symmetra Tour is a 3-day event. So it's 2 rounds and then a cut and then the final day.
And then the final day.
And
yeah.
the Cactus Tour is like the Champions Tour. It's just 3 days and you play.
And you play.
Yep.
No cut, no nothing.
Nope. Mike just wants people to get out there and
To
play
get-
all
right.
3 rounds competitively, and then the top 30% of the pros get paid.
Okay. Well, it's not a bad deal.
No, it's great. And, you know, every friend I've made has pretty much been from the Cactus Tour, and it's transferred over to the Symmetra because we all sort of go up the ranks together, which is nice.
Which is very nice. Well, I have no doubt that you're going to make it over there. What do you have to do to make sure that you get over there full time on the Symmetra Tour?
So the Symmetra Tour, there's
And you're obviously welcome to play Cactus Tour events if you
course.
wanted, even the LPGA Tour players. But what do you have to do to get over there to make that a permanent leap?
Well, the Symmetra Tour, you either have to go through Q School, and then depending on where you finish, depends on the status that you get. The other way to solidify your ranking in the Symmetra Tour is to play in the events. And then as you climb up the money list and you climb up the rankings, they have reshuffles every 3rd of the season. So that's another way to do it. Unfortunately, you have to get into those events,
get into the
in
events,
order
right.
to actually climb up the
Right.
leaderboards. And the ranking system. So it's tough that way. You can get invites from sponsors, and then if you, say, win an event, your ranking jumps drastically,
Right.
which is great. So that's kind of the way to do it. And then the Symmetra Tour is good because they also have, at the end of the year, the top 10 money list get their LPGA cards. So you don't have to go through Q School.
Right.
You just hop right over to the LPGA.
Where is Q School going to be this coming?
They haven't confirmed the last event, I believe. It's normally in Mission Hills, California,
Very
for
nice.
the first one in August. And then in October, they go over to Florida. I believe it's Venice, Florida. I don't know what the name of the golf course is they usually play. And then they go to North Carolina to play Pinehurst
Wow.
for the final for Q Series. So they actually have,
Wow.
yeah, for the final Q Series, it's 2 weeks on 2 different golf courses. And it's usually like just you keep going.
You keep going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just keep going, and it's top 25, get their LPGA card.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I know you're thinking about asking me to caddy for you, so we're going to have to work on that.
We're going to have a discussion about it.
You'll have to have, number one, a real tiny little bag.
You want a little push cart?
That would be good. That would be good to say, but I am convinced that you're going to make it. You're just too good of a player not to.
Well, thank you.
A few more putts, you know.
A couple
that's
more
all
putts drop and I'm
That's
there.
all it is. It usually comes down to that. So, but anyway, thank you for being on the show. It was
Thank you for
delightful.
having
We
me.
hope you come back.
Yep.
That would be great. All right, it's going to wrap it up for this edition of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers over only. And I've been your host, Dennis Silvers, and for Lizzie and I, we want to say thank you. Get out and play some golf if you can. Weather's getting good now pretty much all over the country.
Fantastic.
So no excuses. So we'll see you same place, same time next week. So long, everybody.